Hi, I'm Cameron Bartolotta, State Senator for District 46, and thanks so much for joining me here on Focus on the 46th. Today we're taking a tour through some local areas right around in the southwestern Pennsylvania in my district, and we're going to be talking about blight. We'll see some examples through a town called Donora. We're going to be seeing Monongahela, which is my hometown, for what is, I like to call, the after. Because of some really great infusion of some funds and grants and local community partnerships, Monongahela has really become a jewel of southwestern PA river towns. So we're going to take a tour through there. We'll see Monessen, we'll see some economic developments, and then at the end we're going to be seeing some highlights of a roundtable discussion where a lot of the community are going to come and voice their concerns and learn what it is, as legislators, we can do to alleviate the problem of blight.
This building here has been empty for at least 6 years. The former owner has since passed away. Even when he was living, he fought us tooth and nail. The roof is caving in. A common wall shared by the dentist office here is already leaking through. And now that he passed away, this building is in the estate, and the estate doesn't want to do anything, and it's just something else that we have to straighten out.
So, I mean, where is it right now? They're up to date with their taxes, apparently.
No.
Really? Well, then how does one foreclose on a building?
Good question. It takes years and years, and like Mayor Mavreika said, he said 15. I'll guarantee you it takes at least 7.
That's if everything runs right.
If everything goes well, to take over property. But now that it's in an estate, I have no idea when. And we already had the engineering study, the asbestos study. It's ready to go down.
Okay. Well, is that what you really want to do with it? Is it in need of just being torn down? The roof is in such disrepair.
It's to that point now. If you would see the back of the building, it's actually a safety problem now.
Well, see, that's what a lot of people in a community don't understand. They think that when they see a building like this for years and years and years, that it's been abandoned, it's falling apart, it's in disrepair, they just think that the municipal leaders don't care. That's not always the problem.
No, it isn't.
Your hands are tied legally with the things that you can or cannot do with a building like this.
Exactly.
So that's something that the legislatures really need to take a look at that. And we really need to find out what laws need to be passed, what things need to be changed, so that communities that are trying to pull themselves up by the bootstraps don't get hit with something like this.
Exactly.
Well, that's our mission. Yeah.
Well, thank you, Senator.
Thanks a lot.
This building we own.
Okay.
The next building is the one that is owned by a daycare center, was a daycare center.
Okay.
She moved up into town. And then the next building we own, and then the last building is the one that's in tax claim.
So it's
rigmarole.
checkerboard. And your plan is to take all 4 of these
Take them all back.
Take it all
and
the way
then
up to the corner.
do something
Yeah, all the way to the
beneficial
corner.
for the community with this.
Exactly.
And
Make a
another-
nice farmer's market, have farmer's market, flea markets, whatever it takes, because this is in the middle of town. That would bring a lot of people out.
We have to understand. We should get connected with our solicitor, and this should sort of be the case study. And so we could go back to Harrisburg, and we could be. This is the case study. We have good pictures, and sort of like what your solicitor has done on condemnation. Sort of what the laws are on the books, so we understand. But I mean, this is something that this is disgusting.
Yes, it is.
It happens so very often in so many different communities because the laws don't work for the municipality. Yes, the laws are supposed to protect the landowners, but you know what? There comes a point where it gets ridiculous. And it's not an eyesore only, but it's a danger.
Right.
It brings in a bad element.
Who knows who's going in there late at night, or maybe they're going in there and doing their dope or whatever.
Well, 45% of 911 calls are in or around a blighted area. So that's a lot of police work and taxpayer money.
So the grant, have you received the grant?
It's on hold because of all this. Okay. As far as I know, Dennis Fisher would be the one that.
I'm just curious how long ago it was approved, and
I think it's been 2 years. And that's the bad part. There's money sitting there to be used for something great, and what do we have?
And 2 years is a lot of time for families to move
Harrisburg's been doing a great job, hasn't it?
Back last October, the borough purchased this building off of Ringgold Now we wanted to do something to keep it out of the hands of eBay people that would strip it out. We didn't want to have another problem with this building like we did with the former junior high school and the 5th Street School that Jim just looked at. So we took it, we took the responsibility on and purchased it off of Ringgold. In February, Dr. Bullock came and toured the facility with myself and our borough secretary and a gentleman by the name of John Small, who was a resident of Donora in his youth and still has Donora in his heart. So Dr. Bullock toured the facility. Would you like to tell them what you envision here, Dr. Bullock? Quentin Bullock, president of Allegheny Community College of Allegheny County.
Good afternoon. I'm Quentin Bullock, the president of the Community College of Allegheny County. We offer a variety of services here in Washington County in the Crown Center. And when the opportunity came to look at a possibility of expanding our footprint, this facility was presented. When we saw the facility, we saw it as a great opportunity as a way to expand educational workforce training, non-credit and credit offerings to the surrounding communities to have access to affordable quality education and training that responds specifically to the needs of business and industry. We also can prepare the opportunities to prepare persons for transfer to our 4-year colleges by coming through the community college, completing the first 2 years, and transferring to our partnering schools in the area, Cal U, Indiana University, and beyond. So when we think of this, we see it as a ripe opportunity to explore, to look at what are the training needs, how can a community college embrace this and support the community and economic revitalization, as well as look at ways to expand and support educational growth across the Mon Valley. So this is what we see. Very interested in partnering with the region to really see can we move this to the next step and make it a reality to be responsive to education workforce training.
Can I ask you a few questions? Okay, Doctor. We met via Skype and a couple of other times. What kind of classes would be taught here at this school?
We've looked at the offerings of some of the trades, including the HVAC, plumbing, electrical. We also know there's a growing need in healthcare, so to provide the pre-courses for getting into the healthcare programs, providing science labs to offer the preparation for the area. There's a growing area in technology, cybersecurity, because cybersecurity is a growing area in many of the businesses, and it's quick to provide opportunities for jobs, and also to provide opportunities in other trades. We've considered the CDL, because truck driving is a growing career opportunity, and entrepreneurship, because there's a need to stimulate interest in owning your own business and taking one of the learned skills, trades, and using that entrepreneurial to then transfer into stimulating the community as a whole.
And you and I discussed before the unique opportunity to actually use the buildings in Donora as a living, breathing classroom. To take maybe one of the businesses that is boarded up, that might not just be sitting there idle and able to be, restored, have the HVAC class go down there, the electricians, the plumbers, the steam fitters, the carpenters, and use that as a living laboratory. And that's your final, kids. Bring this building back to life and then give it right back to the borough. So you and I discussed that as an opportunity. As you can see from our tour, there's a lot of opportunities to do that.
There are many opportunities, and that is a great way of engaging in some hands-on experiences where the young men and women are able to learn the skill, apply it, and make a positive difference in the community.
And even with the entrepreneurship.
Absolutely.
So, kids, create a business, and this is how you do it from start to finish, hands-on, and actually be a business owner right downtown in Donora.
Absolutely.
So our fingers are crossed, and we're hoping that it appeals to you.
Absolutely. It's very exciting, and the college remains interested, and we're interested in continuing the conversation.
Great. Thanks so much.
Thank you as well.
This auditorium here has been financed in the last 4 years through local share account. That's table, gaming, and slot machine monies through successful grants to put all new bleachers in here, the new railing. You can see over here a new center for the bathrooms, and it's been quite a successful program.
Likewise, the Borough of Denora has been quite successful in acquiring grants through LSA for several projects in our community. So it's a worthwhile item to apply for the LSA grants. The grant window has opened up for the next year. The grants are due on October the 15th of this year, and it's accessible through the Washington County webpage on information of who is eligible and what type of grants, especially infrastructure grants, are eligible to get funding for the projects in the local community in Washington County.
This is Claudia Williams, and she is a former council person, but works incredibly hard handling a lot of the things with the aquatorium. So I want to hear from you. How many people can sit out here?
3,700 in the seating area.
Okay, and how old is the aquatorium?
Was built in 1969 for the community's bicentennial.
And how many times have the bleachers been repaired?
Well,
They used to be wood.
yes, some of them
Yeah.
yearly. So
Right.
we're hoping this is essentially a lifetime repair.
Right. But just recently, just this year, we got the paved roadway out here and the bricks, and all of this renovation has only happened just this year.
That's correct. That's correct. But over the course of the last 4 years, we've used LSA funds. We had a $265,000 DCNR grant for restrooms, concession stand bonus room, a big grant, which is a boating infrastructure grant for the boat docks, and some personal contributions. So we've moved along here, and we now have concerts every Saturday night.
And they're called
Rockin' on the Mon. We have a mascot.
inflatable alligator that a lot of people
That's
saw to
right.
take with me.
That's right. Last Saturday, this past Saturday night, we had a group from Tennessee, and we had a capacity crowd. All good feedback, all wonderful for the community, going to the restaurants, going to the businesses. In fact, this past week, I had a dozen calls from people who want a place to stay because they don't want to drive home after the shows. So we are seriously lacking in accommodations for people who want to stay in our town.
Right. But this is a perfect example of what some sort of tourism draw can be for a town that really, honestly,
We're on the
before
fence.
this, yeah.
We're on the fence.
Exactly. But before the aquatorium came and was revitalized, we really had a lot of issues. There were some closed businesses and things, but at times we've had up to close to 10,000 people at a time come for fireworks and everything. So this is a great example of what can happen to what once was a blighted area with some investment, local, state, federal. It can go a long way. So
Let me ask you a question.
Yes.
I'm curious on when you applied for the grants, what period of time from sort of the paperwork filing until you receive funding?
Some of the grants we had to apply for more than once, which we were persistent. And typically a year to a year and a half.
Well, let me ask you a question. Why did you have to apply? Did funding run out that you had to reapply?
Our grant was not awarded the first time.
Okay.
So we did more research, we changed our application, we changed our wants and our desires, and we reapplied.
there's
So-
great competition for some of this funding as well. So
I know some
yeah.
of that money, there's a certain amount of money, and there's obviously more applicants than there is money, so you have to reapply. And I'm just curious because, again, I'm from the private sector, and I'm not used to the speed of government and how it operates. So
And there are very specific categories, so you need to make sure that your requests fall within those guidelines. So
do you from downtown where we are? What do you have? Hotels, motels nearby?
Bell Vernon is the closest, and then Washington.
And how far would Bell Vernon be from?
12 miles.
What type is that? That's a hotel.
There are several. There's a Hampton, a Holiday Inn Express, and actually a Budget Inn. There's 4 or 5 up there.
Just want to suggest to you also, as you're going up the Mon, the area that I'm from, Elizabeth and all the way through there, there's lots of bed and breakfasts and things along there. They would love to host those people. So put them on the list of places to recommend.
I will do that.
Especially if some people come by boat, because this marina right here, they can come by boat, enjoy the concert, hop right back on and go. But you know what? We'd love to have them stay in our town. No offense, but
Well, they're looking for room. She's going to send them to Belle Vernon. No?
yeah, I know. That's right.
This is a county that right now is under the 3% hotel tax.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes, exactly.
Has anybody done projections that we increase that to 5 for successful doing that? What that could help the county with dollars for, promotion and tourism?
I've asked the tourism board for information. I actually asked the commissioners for, some of the background on that, so we're more familiar with it.
We supported the 5%, but we really didn't have any initial intention to do that right now. We bring in about 1.6 million dollars on the tourism tax. So, and this was done.
Grants are given out too to these type of projects.
As far as the local share, you apply in the fall. After the first year, it goes in and is selected and goes into you guys at the state to make the decision. And then usually after the distribution of the local share monies come out, sort of like mid-year or so, and that's when we would disperse some money out. And they did this in project stages. And I think you have lights to go and some maybe kayak. Will you talk? You have something you're going to do yet, right?
Yes, there is a kayak launch going in. We're not done.
So another question.
Yes.
Obviously, you have a lot of drilling out here that has generated impact fee money. Is the impact fee money that's in this, is it helping for some of these projects also?
I think we only have one drill from EQT in Carroll Township. I don't know about not in Monongahela
The
City.
drilling is basically Route 79 west, and it's because of the dry gas and the prices. It's expanding this way, Carroll, Fallowfield, Union Township, but it's really not impacted here like it has in the other part of the counties, the northwest and the central part.
We're in Washington?
Yes, we're in Washington County.
How far from Green?
Green County? Well, the borders, yeah,
Right down the river.
right down the river. Yeah.
Last year we saw the reports for the impact fee money from Washington and Green.
Right.
And I'm a clear opponent of the severance tax because I know what the impact fee money is doing, what it was intended for, and obviously we know that severance tax get passed. Philadelphia doesn't need any more money. These are areas that need money.
Yeah.
The areas are impacted, such as Washington County, southwestern Washington County. Now, this year, the Borough of Donora has received its Act 13, which is the spud well tax on the number of wellheads within a certain radius of our municipality. And the Borough of Donora has garnered $89,000 of funds is being used to balance the budget and repave our streets and improve all of our infrastructure.
Right across the river here is Allegheny County. Less than 2 miles down the road is Westmoreland County, and then within a mile to 2 miles from that is Fayette County. Greene County is roughly 10 miles from here to the tip of Greene County. So the Mon Valley is centrally located not only for Washington County, but also 4 other counties in southwestern Pennsylvania.
The process, as we've heard over and over and over again, and which really needs to be shared with people in the community. When you pass a blighted building, when you pass a blighted home, and you see a boarded up business that's been that way for 7-10 years, and you just think, oh, my supervisors are just lazy. That's not the case. You really don't know how very, very, very hard it is to take a property from a landowner. It's really, really, really difficult. It takes years and years in some cases. And we as legislators, I think it's our responsibility to cut through that red tape and make it a lot easier so those buildings that just fall into disrepair. We just saw a building in Menneson, the entire roof was fallen inside the building. You could see daylight. I mean, it was really scary. But that's a building right on Main Street. So who wants to set up a business next door, across the street? It's contagious. It's a plague. And we really need to cut it off and do something about it. But I think the laws make that almost impossible in a lot of situations. And we really need to look at it, and we need to change it.
I believe I'm the most senior citizen in this room at present, at 78, and I've been around for quite a while. I've never seen what I have seen here in the last few months. The senators have pooled their resources together. In the past, every senator that I've known in the state was worried about their own district. But now we have Senator Bartolotta, Stefano, Ward, we're talking about Wagner from over in York. These senators have come together and they've realized that they got more authority and more power with them pulling their resources together. And this is something that they have done that I have to acknowledge that, and I really commend all of you for what you're doing at this point.
We all agree there's too much red tape in government. That's in every place in government that I see in Harrisburg. There's too much red tape everywhere, and we've got to attack the red tape. And I think you've got people here that are gonna really try to attack that. Money's always a problem. We know that for everywhere, but we don't even have a budget right now, so that's going to be a problem. But I was thinking today as we were riding along that bus, I want to get to the root of blight. Why do we have blight? How can we prevent blight? Some of the blight you're going to get is people walking away from their house. They don't have the means to take care of it. But it really disturbed me today when we drove past a building that was owned by a businessman who has the means to prevent that building from being blighted. But the law is he knows how to work the law to keep a building in terrible condition. And the law is kind of shielding him in that regard. So I think there's another angle. We can attack blight from many angles, and this might be one of them. In areas where there's people that have the means to fix up a building, the law should require them to fix up the building or give it up. I don't know how to deal with the people that walk away because they just can't make ends meet anymore, but I do know how to deal with people that have the means to fix up a building but become slumlords or let the building go because we're not doing anything about it. I think the law can be worked in that area.
You know, we've been giving incentives to industrial parks for 100 years, 10 years free taxes. Come here and you can build your plant. You don't pay any taxes for 10 years. Do we do anything like that in downtowns? We have Alerta, we give them a little bit of money, we give them a waiver, we lower their taxes for a few years, but then we take it right back up. And we have more jobs now in Pittsburgh region than we had at the peak of the steel industry. Our problem, as you alluded to, Senator, is the people we need to fill the jobs. And I've heard the Allegheny Conference talk countless times. Our problem now is diversity of workforce, brain power, skilled labor. The steel industry's been gone almost as long as it was here. So we have to take a whole new dimension, a whole new outlook on where we're going and what we're trying to attract. So I would try and incentivize downtowns like you did for industrial parks, and you have done for many years. Instead of eating up green space, go where there's already infrastructure in place. You don't have to rebuild that infrastructure. You don't have to give money first to have a business-ready pad, and you build all the infrastructure for them to come in and not pay taxes for 10 years. Get tax-free sites. How about downtowns, core communities? Give them that incentive. That might incentivize a company to look at one of the mayor's big empty spaces as opposed to going out to an industrial park. Whereas employees can go out and walk to restaurants and places and eat and stimulate the downtown.
Current trends, entrepreneurship has almost quadrupled in the past 5-6 years, and among technology, I think 50% of the people that start new businesses are in technology, and that creates jobs, that creates opportunities, and I think creating an environment in which attracts those types of individuals is important. Having said that, looking to the younger population, the way that you do attract them, a big trend is lifestyles. The up-and-coming techie generation wants to live and work and recreate in their communities. So creating an environment that is rich in that type of sustainability would provide those opportunities for them.
And if you're employed and you have a paycheck, whether it's weekly or bi-weekly, there's tax dollars being taken out, and being sent to the state. And if you're driving a car, you're buying a car, you're buying something that's sales tax, there's transactions happening every day. The money is pouring in, and it's not being, and the other, I heard the word accountability. There is no accountability in Harrisburg at all. And I think that, Rick, you've been there, you're probably longer than the two of us. And Brittany, I'm not speaking for Senator Fontana, but I think he's been there longer than really all of us. But there's just no accountability. And I think when I come out here and I see the energy of people that want to get things done, but we're up against money, and we're up against hurdles of whether it's the regulatory agencies. And I think there was a comment about mandates. The mandates are out of control. And I will tell you the reason. I'm in office because I've operated a business for over 30 years, and my opinion is government has gone wild. And just on the federal government side was published about 6 weeks ago in the Wall Street Journal. There are 177,000 pages of federal regulation. Well, I don't know how many we have in Pennsylvania, but it's out of control here too. So I think, we're newly elected, and we've come to Harrisburg. Our goal was to get elected, go to Harrisburg and make changes, because I can assure you I'm not going to spend 8 years of nothing happening, because that will not be a fun period for me or for people that are up there. So I think I understand some of the problems, and I think we'll probably in the maybe down the road, if there's more questions or comments, we should direct them through your office.
Of course.
And just let's keep this ball rolling.
And when you actually come here and actually see physically with your own eyes and walk around the buildings, which we did today, around the backs and everything, and realize, we've got municipal leaders just with their hands in the air because they can't really do much. And that's a shame, and we need to do something about it. And I'll leave you with this. This is exactly really one of the prominent reasons why I ran for office. 2.5 years ago, my daughter came home from college on a spring break, and she said, "Hey, Mom, one of my sorority sisters is going on a mission trip for spring break." I'm like, "Wow, that's great. Where's she going to go? Mexico?" Or she goes, "No, Menneson." They were sending missionaries from my daughter's sorority to Menneson. That was it for me. That was the straw that broke the camel's back. That's why I'm here. And I think that's why a lot of us are here.
Thank you so much for joining me on Focus on the 46th. If you would like to contact me through any of my district offices, all that information is going to be appearing on the screen. You can contact me through the website as well and get on the email list and learn what's happening in the 46th district. Thanks again for joining me.